Right.
Quick save.
Hopefully we can wrap things up this time. Let's lock the door.
Quick save.
Missile launcher ammunition. Okay. What is this computer? Auxiliary command terminal. Netlink connection to Engineering 9. Keycard.
Quick save.
Oh, for God's sakes.
Authorized access.
Force field control system. Field will remain intact unless auxiliary code is not re-entered by primary command terminal. So we need to kill the guy. Where's the necessary opening? Red key card.
Quick save.
Would it be in our benefit to re-establish some of these?
Authorized access.
There's one extra piece of information.
Quick save.
We escaped to level 9. Reactor is here. We escaped to level 12, so we're not coming back in any way. Which means if we can bypass enemies, we might as well bypass them. We don't have to deal with them later.
Authorized access.
I don't know why he was following me. It's 3 androids. Suicide. Even robots commit suicide in this goddamn Forsaken outfit.
Quick save.
That's the reactor. Right. God damn it. Better make a save here. There's no telling what the hell is gonna happen next and how much time we have.
Quick save.
Do we just plant a charge or what? We do have charges. A few of them.
Blast pack is now active. Warning. The reactor's cooling system has failed. Proceed to
Yeah, I'm totally
exit
stuck.
load. Blast pack is now active. Quick save. Reactor's cooling system and reactor core will reach critical mass in 5 minutes. Proceed to the nearest exit. Thank you.
Any more? Right. I think at this stage we'll want to use the heaviest weapon we have. We might have 5 minutes. On the positive side with the 5 minutes is that
You're not supposed to be here. Hey, what you doing here?
success and failure will happen fairly quickly. So even if we have to retry, it's 5 minutes. Level 9. This is level 10 or level 11, level 12, what?
Quick save.
I can't fucking move. Ugh. Nightmare.
The alarm has been deactivated. Area
Yeah, that's not gonna last. It's the floor trap basically resets me. So I'll holster my weapon and everything turns to shit. Yeah, getting shot is pretty much the worst thing ever. Avoiding some of these alarms is a pretty big deal too.
Quick load.
We sort of have to anticipate certain opponents. I can't move normally because I'm being shot at. Actually, I'm totally stuck. This was at level 10, maybe? Getting to do all this in 5 minutes, that's pretty demanding. Wonder if there is actually a time limit. I'm still gonna use quick states here.
Quick save. Code red. Unauthorized entry.
Can I ride from here? Ah, boss woman.
We just keep running into each other in the strangest places, don't we, Captain? You realize, of course, that thanks to you, my future with the Consortium and the Resistance is finished. However, I know of several out-of-the-way places where a woman with money can live like a queen. That's just exactly what I intend to do. After I get rid of you. There's just one life pod left, Silencer. And I have the access card. So let's settle this, once and for all.
Yeah, she took like 50% of all my goddamn ammunition.
Quick save.
Still.
Access denied. Alarm must be deactivated. The alarm has been deactivated. Authorized.
There has to be another way to kill her.
Congratulations, traitor. You have unraveled my plans to crush the Resistance for now. I shall be forced to spend months in interminable Senate hearings about Kiev's destruction, not to mention reinforcing the public's opinion of President Gauthier's actions in this matter. So, as a way of expressing my gratitude for your timely service, I shall allow you your small victory. But rest assured, Silencer, I shall not forget about you. The world is a small place to hide.
Right, there has to be another way to take her out, because you can't necessarily rely the player to have that weapon. And she took a huge amount of damage. 10 clips worth pretty much of rocket spam right to the face. I had to spam a lot of my energy and mid packs just to survive it too. And that's unreasonable for some weapon choices. Probably. There were other paths you could take there, I noticed on that level, so maybe there are other options. You don't... She has the access code for the pod though, so you can't just bypass her. Or can you? Actually, instead of... I might as well talk about the game while seeing do we have other options there. I think I saved there. No, it doesn't matter what we load, we just need the...
Quick load.
Yeah, quick load. Do we have any options here? She had the card, certainly, but it's the only thing we could do. No. Can't really loot shit.
Intruder alert.
Different type of weapons. What the hell is that? Seriously, what the hell is that? Is it a better weapon? Grenade launcher, at least. I'm dropping all my weapons. Basically, gather up what's here. A couple of extra weapons, nothing special. But the game clearly wants you to have a very variety of different type of weapons to try to deal with the situation. So maybe she is mandatory to kill. Instantly. Can't really loot anything anymore. Yeah.
Security has been breached.
So guess that was it. Oh no, there's a key card here. Right. So you do have an option. Okay. Either survive and fight her, or get the key card, use the key card, get the fuck out. Okay. That's nice. I'm very pleased that there is something else you can do. About the game itself, it's a fine game. There's a huge amount of destructible terrain. You can even blast down doors. The fighting and weapons are fairly satisfying. More importantly, there isn't a huge amount of enemies, or the fighting isn't like a huge hit point pool that you're endlessly pumping bullets into. You have deadly weapons, but they're deadly both ways. And there's a good amount of
Intruder alert.
I wouldn't necessarily say variety, but variety maybe in the sense that even though there is plenty of fighting, you can avoid a lot of the worst of it by playing smart, by taking down defenses before they see you. Spider bombs, things like that could be used more aggressively, I guess. But this is still a very enjoyable game. You could do a lot more, and there's certain gripes about the jumping thing is always a nightmare. It just works in a very weird way, and I have no idea why. It's clearly not intended as a platform primarily. So I don't know what the fuck they're thinking with the jumping. Why even have it there? Looks like a guy with a jetpack anyway. Still, this is a fine game, even now. The controls are something that you'll definitely have a hard time getting used to, because you can't really change where they are, not in the game at least. And they're in a very odd place considering modern control systems. It's trying to integrate the mouse, which it sort of can, but you can't integrate the movement and everything else with the mouse. So even though the aim is by far the best with this compared to this slow ass movement and inaccuracy, so this would have certainly increased my survivability in a lot of fights. But it still is a very keyboard or key demanding thing as far as movement is concerned, because you sort of have the normal movement, but then you have the strafing movement, and then you have the sort of alternative movement, so where you constantly hold your gun and roll and all that. So, and it's primarily designed for just keyboard only. That's the feel I get from it. The mouse support is an addition to that, but the keyboard mouse combination in this does not work like you probably think it works. It just yeah, it sort of tries to combine the two, and it does not work. Not well at all, at least. Alternatively, it sort of has a control system for what I imagine would be good on a gamepad, where the 9 keys on numeric keypad are used like arrows in what direction you want to go. 7 goes here, 3 goes here, 1 goes here, 9 goes here. So this could be easily seen as something one would like in a gamepad, and you would have an easy thumb control on the movement. Probably other options for enough buttons to do the mandatory things. But combinations of these don't really work. And you'd have to reach certain places. I would have to reach control at the same time as using the number keys, which is pretty much impossible to do comfortably. So you sort of, the control system expects you to have a left and right hand on the keyboard constantly, and then you're supposed to use mouse on top of that. So ability to customize the keyboard options and the commands and controls in general would be a godsend to this game. You can probably manually alter them in some kind of settings file, but as far as the standard options are concerned, it takes a little bit getting used to. On the positive side, the game seems to be balanced on the sort of sluggish keyboard commands and turn speeds, so it doesn't really matter that much. Also, if you turn without the weapon drawn, you turn much faster. So it's not always a smart thing to move with the weapon in hand. Get into position, turn, then pull the weapon to do the fine tuning in the aiming. And then this has the auto aim too. It helps, but it also hurts. I think this is probably best played on the keyboard fully. Yeah, it has its problems, but fundamentally it's somewhat clumsy in certain situations, but the game is balanced to keep that clumsiness in mind, so it won't cripple you in any way, really. Yeah, still a fine game. A lot of interesting things you could do. You could see easily how you could sort of develop this idea into a modern game. You wouldn't have to do massive changes, just further develop ideas like droid controls, maybe hacking, infiltration, combat certainly a little bit, things like that. But you could this has a solid foundation for a good game, and it's still an okay. I suppose maybe it gets a little bit old at the end here. 15 missions where there's not a huge variety between missions, and there's a lot of traps and enemies that you have to get through. So I dislike it because the fighting isn't that good. I think the game is better if you sort of have to keep a low profile and use your items in general to get through. But once you have a huge amount of enemies, you also need the huge amount of firepower to get through them. So I think this game could have easily lost a couple of the later levels, or a couple of levels somewhere, and be tightened up, and it would have been better. You could use that time to give more thought about what do you want the player to do in these games. I mean levels. Have maybe a little bit of themed levels here and there, where somewhere where, like the final level, have go for it all, full violence, missiles flying, that's fine. But this has been for a couple levels like this almost, where there's very little point in trying to just stay all that stealthy. You have to remove the alarm here and there to make progress, but that's about it. And I don't think this is the strength of this particular game. But yeah, still enjoyable enough. And I think I'll jump to the follow-up game immediately, basically because I have a fairly good feel for the game. The controls are starting to feel very natural to me at this point. I screw up sometimes because of how the rolling works. Like, if I want to roll to the right side hand of the screen, I have to roll to by pressing the left key. So that screws me over here and there, so I roll to the wrong direction. Because this sort of, the controls run like you are playing a first person game constantly. So it's your left that you're moving, not to the left. and in a heat of the moment that can confuse me here and there, but it's not a huge deal. As usually when you dodge, it's just okay that you dodge in one direction. If it's not a situation where the combat is already going, you have time to really think about it. What buttons do you have to press? But yeah, I'm interested in seeing how they develop this idea further, because this is the first implementation of this game. So yeah, there's always problems, but follow-up game, yeah, how do they see that this game could be developed further? What are they gonna do with the systems, the combat systems, equipment systems? Are they gonna add to the sneaking or infiltration aspect somehow? Make combat harder, more plentiful, more rare? I mean, what are they gonna do with the puzzles? So is it going to be some kind of expansion shit where they're just going to add a lot more of everything and make everything a lot harder, or are they actually going to change the game a little bit? Like the difference between Thief 1 and Thief 2. I think Thief 1 is a fine game, but Thief 2 takes a lot of the aspects of the first game and develops them further into a much more enjoyable thieving game. So in that sense, where does the Crusader No Remorse go from here in the Crusader No Regret?